It's one of the ideas that I'm thinking about, and I think it would apply to your people in South Africa. I just wrote a broadcast about this recently that you may have received, and it was, the title of it was Earning US Dollars Wherever You Are in the World.
Let's start with that.
And the reason I wrote that is because I've just moved to Spain very recently.
Let me put this away. Let's start.
Yeah, well, I mean, this all, it's nice and relaxed, isn't it?
Okay. Okay.
And there's a lot of South Americans that have moved to Spain because they're having real problems with the currencies over there. Argentina, there's raging inflation. Venezuela, there's raging inflation. And I know that in South Africa, because you're, a good number of your people are coming in from South Africa because you're speaking to them directly and you're relating to them. And the rand has devalued. I don't know what it is now. Is it 19 to $1 or something like that? It's kind of, so people, it's through no fault of their own, their currencies have devalued to such a point that it's challenging for them to, buy imported goods, invest in an education program that's priced in dollars. But the flip side is that because the US dollar tends to be, largely the currency of the internet, you can earn in US dollars, and this makes such a difference.
I think that's the key. It is going to be expensive for someone in South Africa to do the training. There's no way around that, because if you're buying it in rands, that is what's going to happen, no doubt. But if you're starting the course, you're starting because you're planning to have some success. So you've got to look at your plan over the next, say, year or 2 years, and say you're going to learn all this stuff in the modules for 6 months, and then you're going to put things out on the internet and start earning. And you price in dollars. And whether or not you have an account in South Africa where the money is coming into, and a lot of people have got accounts in the UK or Portugal, and they do their broadcasts, and the money gets paid that they earn gets paid into their account in the UK or Portugal. It doesn't even go back to South Africa. And there's some people who have the earnings coming back into South Africa. But it's exactly what you said. You then price a course or price a product, or if you're working as an affiliate, it works exactly the other way around. So if somebody buys Launchpad and you get the $400 commission, once that gets back to you in rands, it's a massive commission. So the extra commitment that people in bad exchange rate countries have to make is to commit to the training. But once they got everything up and running, the reverse is true.
Yeah, Tim Ferriss wrote about this in the 4-Hour Workweek. He talks about joining the new rich, and one of the strategies is to earn in US dollars and spend a good deal of the year in in geographical locations in Asia or in Central or South America, perhaps, where the dollar buys so much of the local currency that you can live on the cheap.
Yeah.
And you make the investment, you invest in your own skills, you get to keep those skills. It's an investment, it's not really a cost. It changes you as a person. And then you go on, I've gone on, and I think you have as well, to multiply my investment, I don't know how many times over, multiple times annually. And living in an economically challenged part of the world could actually be considered a big bonus.
Yeah. We're in Portugal, and it sits pretty much even, the euro and the dollar. That's never really made a difference for me. But I've got people in South Africa who are making it work. There's a guy who's doing a training program, and his training fees are on a par with US dollar training fees in the world. But of course, by the time the money gets back to him, the multiplier is working the other way. So he's quite happily now living in Cape Town, earning from his training course.
Yeah, and I think also, if inflation is raging, then it's not only going to, give you a little bit more a bit of more of an opportunity to actually accrue some wealth, but it's going to give you the stability as well, because if you're earning in the US dollar, then you're not going to be subject to this raging inflation either. You're not only going to be better off, but you're going to be more stable, I believe. And the reason is, just to explain why, we're tapping into a global marketplace. Our clients, our members, I've got members, they're coming in from Colombia and Ecuador, and they're coming in from Thailand and Malaysia, as well as Europe and the Middle East. So once you have this skill, once you understand internet marketing, how to sell things online, then you can tap into, with the internet, you can tap into literally a global marketplace.
Yeah. It's interesting that what you say about tapping into the marketplace, because there's different things that people can do. And one of the issues that I also see challenges people in the poorer economic countries is they worry that they still have the difficulty of importing stuff. And they just need to think about that, because a lot of people think you're going to come online and sell stuff on Amazon. And there's so many other ways to earn online. And yes, you will have a challenge if you decide you're going to start a business importing generators into South Africa. It sounds like a brilliant idea, given the situation of the South African electricity department. But there's so many costs involved. You've got to buy the generators in China or wherever. Yes, they look like a very low price. Then you've got to import them and pay the import duties and everything. And then you've got a physical product sitting there. So there's two ways around that. One of them is this thing called drop shipping, where you price all of that in and advertise. And if somebody buys one, someone in China ships one. So you don't have to import a container of 60 generators in order to get into that business. You can do an arrangement with the folks in China. They'll agree you a price, and then they will ship to an address every time you make a sale. That's one way to get around that. But the other way to get around that is to do something that's not a physical product. And that, I think, is the key. We've got 3 websites going now, and the one that is the most profitable is the one that teaches people how to market their guest houses, because you spend a lot of time and energy setting it up, but when somebody buys the product, when somebody comes online and buys our product, how do I market my guest house? I've got no real cost in shipping them the product. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, it's a digital product.
Yeah.
You've done the work once, and then you get to ship it over and over and over and over.
So people get the digital book, they get the digital exercises. They can then watch the range of, I think it's 42 videos that takes them through the whole course. And that's, for me, is the beauty of earning online, because all that's happening, it's happening now. I've got members in that course busy doing the course. I don't know where they are in the course, because the course is great. You start at the beginning and it teaches you how to set up your assets, your photographs and all of that. And people, it takes about 12 weeks and people work through all of that. But it's all digital. And so apart from the time to set it up and film it in the first place, there's no cost for the product. So every time I sell one now, it's margin.
Yes.
And that makes such a difference.
Yeah, I know that you're big on helping people understand that they can actually monetize their life experience, their current skills, their knowledge that they already have. I mean, I think both of us are appealing to a more mature audience. Yeah. And would you like to talk a little bit about that, Mitch?
That's becoming my new mantra, because it took me about 2 years to fully understand this concept, because I must be thick as bricks.
Well, I mean, it took us all a little while to get to grips with it, but it's just another learning curve, isn't it?
What I've noticed in the world, here's my big world speech by Mitch Weber. Okay.
Yes.
I've noticed 2 important things in the world. The first thing is to do with digitalization. Now, all of us were at work when along came a fax machine. And the fax machine was a wonder. You buy this box and you plug it in the office. You can type a letter and you don't have to use the post office anymore. You can fax it to somebody. And I remember the first days of fax machines, we were so excited until we discovered that you can only fax it to somebody else who's got a fax machine. So it took a few months before everybody thought I'd better get one of these faxes. And so in the beginning we were faxing to about 10 different companies, but nobody else had a fax machine. But they became cheap, and for a while, 3 or 5 years, I can't remember, everything was faxed. And then this digital malarkey started creeping in. And about 1990 something, Google started, and there was another big one in America, Yahoo.
Yeah.
And they had these battles going on, and then somewhere in 2005 or something, Google started to just get traction. And it was off. At the same time as that, all this other digital cleverness came along. People can send films to each other. YouTube emerged. Instructions were going left and right. Conference calls were happening. And what I noticed is that a whole lot of people of my age, and I was about 55 at that time, you look at all this stuff that's happening, and there's internet going on over there, and email stuff, and Google, and messaging, and all these different apps. And then you notice people start to sell online. And first of all, people put a brochure online. And that's as far as we could work the internet. And you'd come, hire an internet company, and they'd put the brochure online, and people could have a look and send you an email if they wanted something. And then this purchasing online thing came. And at the similar sort of time, Jeff Bezos came in, and he brought book selling online. And that was the first absolutely major disruption, because it only took a year or two for all the bookstores to be gone. Because although people love the bookstores and love wandering around and the touch and the feel and the ambience of bookshops, it's what people do is you browse online, you see a book you want, you press pay, and the next day it's on your front door. And the world switched to that so fast, and bookstores disappeared. Facebook came along, people started chatting, and post delivery just went through the floor with Gmail and Facebook and all of these things. I think only documents are now sent in the post, so that disappeared. All the while, in the background, us older people are looking at all this, and I took a subconscious decision thinking, I'm lucky I'm 55.
Yeah, I don't need to engage with that.
I don't need to know how all this stuff works, because I'm going to retire before it happens to me. So that was the one major plane that was happening. Everything is going digital. When I say everything, I mean everything. I mean, lots of people are in companies that you would think would never go digital, but somebody in there starts a digitalization program, and customer orders become digitalized. The accounting system is digitalized. People start to work from home, and there's nothing we can do about it. In the next 5 years or faster, it will be a digital world. And I remember thinking, I'm out of there. But before I could get that thought and ambition, what started happening was that you were getting flung out of there. And this is my second point. The first point being digitalization has come along so fast, and everything is digitalized, and us older people haven't really got to grips with it. The younger generation, when they're 8 or 10, they're working an iPhone and sending apps, and it's natural to them. Us older people have kind of kept digitalization at a distance.
Yeah, we didn't grow up with it, we resist it.
Yeah. And we have the thought we'll never need it, because we're going to retire.
We're old school.
And look what's happening to the world, thank goodness I'm out. And as I say, the offshoot of that was in companies right across the world, older people started getting fired. Not fired, they don't use that word, they say made redundant. Because there's some whippersnapper coming up, 25, 30 nothing, and they can digitalize a sales process. So they set about doing that. So suddenly this 36-year-old is the head of sales. And all the 55, 60-year-old people, with their contacts, their experience, their understanding, they just flung out. Because Whippersnapper is doing double the sales at a fraction of the cost. The older people are on reasonable salaries. Whippersnapper's on a pay-per-click bonus scheme. And so he's not costing the company. They see him as an investment. And all the older people are being made redundant. All the companies in the world are downsizing. And just look at the news. All of them, they're downsizing. After COVID, if you look at the whole Canary Wharf area, the insurance companies, the accounting companies, the banking companies, they're not renewing the leases on those massive offices in and around Canary Wharf because they just don't need the people. And it's the older people that are going and the younger people with digital that are coming in.
Yeah, there's ageism, there's discrimination against the more mature job seeker. Yeah, for sure.
And that caused a decline in our confidence. So older people get towards 57, 58, 55, 62, whatever it might be. And I found myself, and I see a lot of other people, your mentality changes from what can you do next, from ambitions to how can I make sure I hang on to this job until I'm 63 or 64. And your whole world becomes defensive. I'm speaking in broad terms, but your whole world becomes defensive. And instead of being outgoing, courageous, experienced, all of those things that you used to be, you have to be careful now. Because your objective now is to hang on to this job until you're 65 or 67, depending on your retirement system. Because you know you won't get another job. And that's the problem. And I found that on personal experience when we came here and set up the guest house. And almost immediately COVID hit. So I thought, whoa, this is going to take a couple of years. I better jump back into London and get some work to see Vicky and I through the COVID patch. I could not get close. You're phoning people up and saying, hi, it's Mitch, people who I knew, but they know I'm 60. And the salary I'm going to demand is probably a bit high. I'm not going to be able to do digital. And I must have emailed over 175 people looking for a job at the start of COVID. In an area where I had been very successful. Couldn't get a thing. And it wasn't because of people being retrenched because of COVID. It was because I was old. I got 2 interviews in the whole time. And I just remember, for me, the watershed was going on to one Zoom call interview. And this little person came on, bless them. They can't have been more than 26 or 27, and it was the HR person who was doing the initial screening. And I just thought, I'm nearly triple your age. It's an unbelievable thought, isn't it?
Yeah, old enough to be a grandparent.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at this. It was a lovely lady, and she had her papers and her little folders in front of her and everything. And she was asking me these questions from some guidebook, you know what I mean? I was applying to be a marketing director of a company, and she's asking me things like, where do I want to be in 5 years' time? Retired. You know, it's not the answer they want to hear. And it was just so horrible for me, but for her. You could see she was thinking, oh God, I've got to keep this going for at least 15 minutes before I end, otherwise it's rude. So I'll chat to this old man for 15 minutes, and then I can send him a standard note that says, thank you for your application, it's a great one, it's going to go into our folder, and in the future if we blah blah blah. But that's when it dawned on me that older people are finished in the traditional workplace.
And did it dawn on you that you need to do something for yourself? Was that one of the dawnings?
It didn't dawn on, it bulldozed.
Yeah.
Okay. Money was still going out for paying off the guest house, living. I started to draw down on my pension, and that's what I mean, bulldozed. You go, this isn't sustainable. I've got to do something.
Yeah.
And that's when I came online and found Modern Wealthy and started that training. And after 6 months, it started bringing in an income. And I've been working on that and other projects online for a couple of years.
So can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So as a 60-something at that time when you made the switch, because there are going to be people watching this that are going to be more or less our age, all right? And they're going to possibly have doubts and fears and concerns about acquiring the skills that are necessary to earn an income through their laptop computer. So tell me about that transition. Was that was that easy? Was that difficult? Was that
no? There's a lot to say about that, and a lot that I haven't formulated the thinking in my head properly. So we can do that as we go.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things I'm learning to hate is this expression, acquire digital skills. Because my entire being goes, no, I cannot acquire digital skills. And technically, I am correct. I will never acquire digital skills. Digital skills in my head, before joining Modern Wealthy and all of this, is the people who can write stuff on online programs and make things happen. That's digital skills. They're people, my friend Andy in Zambia has got digital skills. So you can say to him, I want to build a website for this guest house. Here's the photos of the guest house. Here's the body copy that I want to go, and here's more or less the pages. And I send that to Andy, and Andy's got digital skills. So he goes into HTML. Is that a thing? And he goes into HTML and he does this thing where he goes ! .. .. clack, headline, // bold. He's writing digital stuff.
Yeah, he's coding.
He's a digital geezer.
Yeah.
I am not a digital geezer.
Yeah.
And I never will be, and I don't want to be.
And neither do you need to be.
No, and I don't need to be. And that's why I am starting, sorry to spring that on you because it's a new thought, starting to become allergic to this expression, acquire digital skills. Because you don't have to. You don't have to acquire digital skills. And that's my last point. And then we'll chat about that. What's happened, this is a line, what's happened from the fax becoming a new thing? It went through all this stuff, and then people who could do digital, strange people, got all the kudos and the power, and everything went to them. And these systems and programs keep getting cleverer and cleverer. But now it's got to the point, is that my phone going off?
It's not mine.
Okay. Now it's got, I haven't got friends that often to ping me that much. Now it's got to the point that I will argue strongly that you don't need digital skills to be successful in the digital environment. Because what I was saying, if I want to build a website, I get all the body copy and the pictures and everything, and I send it to a man who can. I'm not interested in spending the next 18 months learning how to code in HTML to put a website together. I don't want to do that. So you can go to GoDaddy or all these other platforms where you just type what you want in, click and drag a picture, and boom, you've got a website.
Yeah, there are templates now.
Yeah.
There are actually ready-made websites in many different designs. They call them themes or templates, and you just go in there and you change. You edit basically. You change an image, or you type in different headlines and copy and so forth. And in my book, that's not a digital skill. Yeah, that's right. And then it's one click, isn't it? It's publish. There's a little button that says publish.
Yeah, you can
click
preview
that, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're online.
It's so much. It's easier than that. There's a button there that on all of them that says preview. You click it, and it says where do you want this preview to go. You put your email, and then it sends you a link. And if you click on that, you preview the website. It's not in the interweb. It's just you having a look, and you can go through it, check all the buttons are working, no spelling mistakes and everything. When you're happy with that, you go back and you press publish.
Yeah.
That is not a digital skill.
Right, that's right. So
it is not.
It's no different from buying things online,
Yes.
is it really?
So that's the most important. Well, there's these two important things that I want to chat about. One is this fear of digitalization, which is no longer true, because so many people have seen the opportunity to build sites where you can go in and talk English and get back the stuff you need. For me, this dawned on me when I came to using what they call an autoresponder. And I think a lot of these words and three-letter acronyms are emerging because people, it's sort of protectionist. You know, every industry's got them. They're TLAs. Do you know what a TLA is?
Help me.
It's a three-letter acronym.
Yeah.
It's just people say these little words and it makes them on the in crowd and seem clever and so on. But it's just easy stuff. So digital has gone through phases where it was new, then it was really, really hard to do, and then experts could do it. But in order to make more money, some of these experts made things easy. Facebook is an amazing piece of technology that you use without knowing any of the technology. Just think about it. You can take a picture and put it on Facebook and say, ha ha ha, here I am windsurfing. And you press a button and there's a group of friends who get that picture and they can comment, they can cut and paste it, there's so much they can do, and none of them know how it's working.
Yeah.
And digital has become like that. So now you can go on, Google is fantastic, you say I want to place an ad and they unveil it in blocks. What's your ad about? It's about selling guest house training. Where do you want to advertise? In the UK. How much do you want to spend? $5 a day. And you answer all these blocks, cut and paste your video here, press play. For some reason it makes you press play again. It's one of Google's things. And now your ad's in Google. I'm advertising on Google. I don't know how. So that's my first thing. This fear of digital it's rubbish, it's gone. Second thing is experience. If you go, I found this by mistake just from watching lots of things. If you go onto your own YouTube and you do, what's it called when you do a thing that's a hidden
well, there's private, public, and there's a third category, isn't there?
Yeah, not really. If you go to open up a window for the first time, if I go now to YouTube, it knows me and all my habits, and it puts, I think it's called an incognito.
Oh, okay.
So you can choose incognito. It's a little experiment you can do.
Yes.
You can choose to open up YouTube. So open up YouTube, look at your page, and all the videos you see, I'm vaguely interested in them. On mine comes, have I got news for you?
Yes.
Updates on the Ukraine war, stuff like that. How to build something. All the stuff I'm interested in comes up. If I type, I want to open an incognito window, and then type in YouTube, YouTube's now got no idea who I am.
Who you are, yeah. That's
and
right.
It throws up a scattering of things.
Yes.
To try and quickly learn what it must put in front of you. So you will see rabbits dancing, young girls dancing, people cooking. You'll see all kinds of things, and depending on what you click, YouTube will start to learn what you like.
Yeah.
And start to build up these habits.
Yeah.
And what I noticed when I started experimenting with this is you could actually become somebody else. That's an aside point. You could become 18 years old and off you go. But I was looking at these videos and it dawned on me that everybody under the age of 40 or something, all the technology skills, born with the interweb in their life, they know how all of it works, but they got nothing to say on YouTube. It's a very derogatory statement, but it's true. You look at the whole page, there's a man who's doing pranks on people in the pavement. You know, he throws a football to them and when they kick it, he pulls it back on a string. There's a girl and her boyfriend doing some dances, very cool dances. There's some other guys doing drinking games. All this bollocks is done by the youngsters because they can do the technology, but they got nothing to say. Now, here's the test. Go onto your YouTube and type in there, how do I scrape a wet cement off the ceiling? Something very specific. Up will jump 10 or 12 videos. Without knowing, I'll give you £100 for everyone that pops up and the person is over 35 years old or 40 years old even. And you give me £1 for everyone where the guy is older. That makes sense. So I got that the wrong way around.
Yeah, you might have got that the wrong way around. I think what you're saying is if you ask how to do anything on YouTube, you're more likely to get a more mature individual pop up because he's got the experience. Is that the idea?
That's it. And you say it so nicely and politely. You're more likely to get an older individual. I'm being more direct. I'm saying you absolutely will get people over 45 who know how to remove the plaster from the roof. And it dawned on me that these two things coming together, digital being so easy to do and older people having experience, it's an opportunity for, how do I call it, a rebirth of boomers. Is there such a thing? Boomer rebirth.
A renaissance.
You're so grown up. A renaissance of boomers, because there's all of us folks out here. We're 55 plus, 62 plus in my case, 65 plus in your case, who've been flung out because we can't do digital. But now you don't have to do it. But we're the ones with all the experience. So you can come on and your experience can be what you had from work. So maybe you were an accountant. Maybe you were a tax advisor, maybe you were a marketer, builder, whatever it was. You can take that experience and do something online. You can take your hobby. So if you were into model railways, pottery, I mean, I've got a member who just likes to draw, and he's monetizing that by putting his drawings on t-shirts, mugs, and so on. And now he's starting to expand his little business, so that you can say, draw me a caricature of me and my wife on the boat, and he'll draw it and put it on a couple of shirts. You can get it for your anniversary. Do you see what I mean? You can send him a photo.
Personalised.
So he's taken his hobby and turning it into a little business that earns him some money. And on the weekend, there was a lady here who's taking it a step further. She doesn't have a career in astrophysics or something she can take online. She doesn't have an interesting hobby. And I found this very, very interesting. She's been alive for 50 years, 53 years. And she's taking that experience and putting it online. So she's building a website that deals with what's going to happen to you and how you can get yourself through it. Because there's no coaching out there.
It's the empty nest syndrome.
Well, she's got 3 or 4. She's got menopause, empty nest, grandchildren, and I don't quite remember the last one. It was something about your kids leave and they have kids, and coaching you about how to handle that, because things that I'd never thought of because I don't have kids. But she said a lot of people then want to tell the daughter how to look after the kids, and what that does is alienate the daughter. And instead there's another way to go about it, so that you very quickly become the go-to person for, first of all, babysitting. She laughed, but she said that's what happens first. If you play your cards right, it's coming where the son-in-law and the daughter want to go out, and it's their first time out. And if you've built an environment where they can decide the best thing to do is to call Gran, you're in a way. But this is how you handle it. You don't go in and babysit, and when they come home, the whole house has changed the way you would change it. She knows. I don't know all this stuff. But my point is, she's just taken her 52 years of life experience, and she's creating an income online, helping people. And that's what's great. She doesn't have to help the world. She's got to help 500 people, and she can earn a living online.
Yeah. And can I just say something? Just
finally.
Just for a moment. I mean, you can ask me something in a minute, but you just make me think. So, because I think, I still think that people are going to be saying to themselves, well, I haven't got any skills that I can monetize, right? So I've come across some stories recently from other people in the community that are monetizing their skills. And okay, so there's one guy now. He was I don't know whether he was a building site manager. He was one of those people. He wasn't a tradesperson. He wasn't a chippy or an electrician, but he was somebody that was inspecting the properties. Maybe he worked for buildings regulation department in the local town council or something like that. And so what he does now is he's put his services online. And if people, if people do not want to have their own project manager, let's say you're having an extension built or a home built, or you're doing some building work of some description, and you want to save the money by not engaging a project manager and taking on some of these responsibilities yourself, he will work with you remotely on Zoom. So you'll have calls with him as and when you need them, and he'll get you through the project, right? Who would have thought that experience could be monetized? We got people teaching the harmonica online remotely. Now when you think about that, because the work is being done on Zoom or it's one of these sort of teleconferencing platforms online, you can teach anybody. You can teach someone in Australia. You've got a global marketplace you can tap into. There's a guy who has an allotment, who understands how to grow his own fruit and vegetables, and he's actually selling a course of his own design for just short of £1,000, £995 I think it is, and he's teaching other people how to grow their own vegetables in their back garden. So it almost doesn't matter what experience, skill, knowledge you have. There are people that want that out there, and they're prepared to pay for it.
That is the key. Take your vegetable grower man.
Yeah.
He's probably on a pension or something, doing okay. He only needs 2 customers a month. That's 24 a year. And he's 24 grand in.
Yeah.
What a difference 24 grand would make. So it's not all about going online to become a billionaire. Some of you might want to do that off you go, but maybe I'm too realistic or not ambitious enough, but I'm not going to overtake Jeff Bezos in the next 10 years. I'm not. But I am going to have a comfortable income. And that's all you have to do. You don't have to think, how am I going to get everybody on this site? I love that vegetable story, because all he's got to do is get 24 people a year. And if he wants a bit more money, 36. 3 a month.
Yeah, you've got a digger driver.
The digger driver is just fantastic. He's my favorite for 3 reasons, and the first one being because he's exactly how I think Australians should be. He goes, "Hello mate," at the start of every video, so he wins all the points in the world. Bang on. He was a digger driver forever, a digger driver. And what he realized is that lots of the big hardware stores rent out diggers. But if you and I went now and rented out a small digger, and they're small one-man diggers, about the size of, you sit in the thing the size of your chair, but then what do we do with it now?
Yeah, you got all these, you've got this arm,
and then you've got to read a thing. Yeah. So he's done a website, and you pick by job what you want to do, and you can also find out where to hire the diggers. But say I just want to put a trench down the side there to stop the rainwater going onto the terrace and everything. So I need a digger for a day, and then I can do that. But I can go online and say, dig a trench, and I'll pay 20 quid, and I can download 6 video lessons. The first thing is what the controls are in the digger. Second thing is how to make the lines on the road. Third thing is how to dig it. But he's thought it all through, because he knows. Where do you put the sand that you dig out? Because you'll dig it and say, I've dug a trench. Oh, now what do I do with all this sand? You know what I mean? So he's got it all, and then how to clean it and how to have it back to be collected. Cost you 20 quid. You watch all these videos, a little bit of instructions, you can go and do that.
And he does a full certification course, doesn't he?
He's not qualified to give the certification, but if you follow all his courses, you are then well equipped to go to one of the places and apply and pass.
Yeah, there's an examination,
Yeah,
and he's giving you the...
it's a government thing that gives the certification, not him.
Yeah.
But if you did all of his courses, because that's digging a trench, digging a hole, moving, whatever it is that you do with diggers, you can get a proper license for that, and then you could do work as that.
And what about Stuart? I mean, Stuart is he's a van life person. He's got a kind of a mobile home camper van type of thing, isn't he? You know, and he just goes off travelling, doing his thing. And that's not even a skill. That, you know, that this is just a passion, and he's demonstrated by setting up a website that appeals to other travellers and happy campers and so forth, and he's monetized that passion. He's now got a website which is producing him an income from recommendations he's making on stuff that he's using. It might be a little solar panel that charges up the mobile phone, or it might be a little, I don't know, you know, a little portable
camper stuff.
Yeah, portable potty, or a 12-volt coffee machine, or whatever. And he's being paid for what he loves to do. The
thing I like about that is Stuart started that about 3 years ago, and his goal was to not spend any money advertising. And he's done it all by posting on Facebook and posting on the internet and doing that. And it took him about nearly 2 years before he started getting traction. And now the site is moving up and up the rankings if you type in things like camper van. And he reckons it'll take another year or so before he's on the front page. But slowly he's building it, and he's earning an income, having never spent money on Google. And that was his goal. And it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah, I hope whoever's watching out there, I hope you who are watching this is starting to get an idea now that you can just monetize so many different ideas these days once you understand the way that the internet marketplace works. And it doesn't require these digital skills that Mitch touched on earlier on.
I'm going to learn a new word for digital skills, because it's a scary word, and I think it puts a lot of people off. I'm only going to talk about something like monetizing your experience online. Because I have not learned digital skills. I can do some stuff online that I couldn't do when I started. So yes, there is stuff I had to learn. But if you put me in the room with someone who can do digital, I'm out of my league. I'm not a digital person. I'm a person who can set up an ad I can make an ad on YouTube or on Google. I can set it up in Google. I can set it up on YouTube. I can link it to my autoresponder account and link that to my website. That's it.
Yeah, we can demystify that word autoresponder in a minute. But I think the point of it, there's another point here, isn't there? And that, I mean, so you're 62, I'm 65. We both started 2 or 3 years ago, and your age is actually a huge advantage. Isn't it? You know, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people think, you know, I'm too old, or it's too late, or you're done. You know, there's nothing new left for me to do. But your age gives you an edge, and there are statistics that inform us that older individuals, older people, business startups are far more likely to succeed than the youths. Which is counterintuitive. You think, well, they've got maybe the techie skills, they know how to work an iPhone, but it's the older folks with their life experience, with their work ethic, with their understanding of the human condition and so forth, you know, that are able to put real value out into the world, which has a value. And we see them winning. We see these older people winning, and we also see them doing work that's largely in alignment with who they are. You don't have to just sell something for the sake of it, for the money. You know, I think at this time of life, we're all probably more interested in doing something meaningful and rewarding and satisfying, and perhaps, you know, something noble that elevates other people's lives. You know, we rise by lifting others. And I think if we're coming at this online business opportunity with that, from that perspective, with the idea of helping other people, solving their problems, easing their pain, adding value to their lives, then it's noble work that we can feel justifiably proud of as well. Yeah.
Good.
That's my little rant. So what do you want to ask me? I mean, what other areas do you think would be holding somebody? So we've got a 55 or a 60-year-old.
The biggest thing that holds people back, without a doubt, I believe there's 2 steps that they go through before joining, and they are scam and is it true? Now I know they sound the same thing, but they're 2 different points. The first one is it a scam? And that's what lots of people are worried about, because they were on YouTube or Google or something and somebody popped up and said you can earn an income online, and a big part of their reaction is, yeah, right, it's a scam. How do you get people to overcome that concern?
Yeah, okay, all right. So, well, I mean, for a start, we come out once a month. You know, if people are watching this video, then they're on our subscribers list, and we're going to send them out an invitation at the very end of every month or the early part of the month for a call that we come out on every first Monday of the month.
Yeah.
Whereby I can share the screen and give people a guided tour of the education platform. You can engage with us and ask us questions, and you can see that we're real people. That's part of it. But people think, maybe it's a scam, maybe it's a scheme or something. I felt the same way.
Yeah.
I think that's a very natural response, and I think there are scams and schemes online, and there are people, you know, maybe kids in America standing in front of rented Lamborghinis, you know, trying to kid us that you can become a millionaire overnight, and it's patently not possible. You know, that's not how this works. This is an education. This is like the Open University of how to earn money online. Okay, that's the way I kind of see it. And you've got to go back to school, and there's no quick fix. It took me 5 months to work through the training program, which actually has you take the steps to build the business. All right, it's a practical training. So you're guided, you've got access to experts, you've got all the necessary resources and the website hosting and everything you need, and you're taken almost click by click. There are 60 lessons, aren't there? There are 6 modules with 10 lessons through which Stuart guides you to do the work that is necessary. There are workbooks. So you're going to have to study and do work and do practical exercises and start assembling the various components of this online business online, which is going to operate on autopilot. Okay, that's the idea. We're going to do the work to automate an income, and this might be the moment to talk about the autoresponder just very briefly. That's a complicated word, but all it means is that once one of our people, once somebody that we attract applies for a free offer, okay, that we put out in exchange for their name and email address. All right, we can perhaps talk a little bit more about this later. But there's an exchange takes place, whether it's an advert on Google search, on page 1 of Google search, or whether it's an advert on YouTube or Facebook or any of the social media platforms. What's generally happening is an offer is being proposed of and it's generally something free of charge. It might be access to a webinar, it might be some free videos, it might be an ebook or a PDF download or a newsletter or something like this. And in order for the individual that's either searching on Google search or watching, you know, engaging with one of the social media platforms, they have to opt in with their name and email address. There's an exchange takes place. Okay, so all of a sudden we've now captured the name and email address of somebody that we know is interested in that particular thing. If it's a series of free videos about online business and you apply for it, we know that you're interested in online business. Okay, so now we can engage with you regularly via email. Okay, and the autoresponder is just a piece of software that lives online. It's a tool that we can pre-program to ping you an email every day or every other day or at whatever frequency we determine. All right, so that's all an autoresponder is. It's just a piece of, it's a tool within which we store names and email addresses, and the technology, which you don't need to understand, sends out pre-programmed emails. Okay, that's an autoresponder, and so that allows us to do whatever we do. You run your guest house and I go traveling around Europe, and we do what we do, and the business just runs in the background. The emails go out, and we warm people up, and some of them sign up to the education and come in as members and clients. So yeah, is it a scam? Is it a scam? I think you had an idea also about this. About you think that people are playing safe as well. You think maybe people are using that as an excuse.
It's such a hard thing because there's no way that you can answer online, because people say it's a scam, and the only way I can answer is online. I can't go and visit everybody. So I often say to people that just think about it this way. You are where you are, and clearly you're not a millionaire, otherwise why were you even looking at this video about how to earn online? And you can come on, and the first courses are free, so there's no risk. Some people are still worried, but there's no risk. You can give your name and address. They say, well, now you've got my name and address. I go, well, yeah, what am I going to do with that? If you go to your inbox, I've got an Apple, there's a spam folder. Click in there, and I'm getting maybe 30 or 60 spams a day. That's what the spam folder's for. It flings them there. And
you can unsubscribe. It's the law. Every single one of those emails must have an unsubscribe button. So it's one click.
There is no real risk there.
Yeah.
But people still say it's a scam. Okay, fine. But what are we going to scam you out of? So if you start the basic training, it's $37. And I was chatting to the guy Andy, and he said it's a funny thing because $37 in London, that's the price of a good burger and maybe a couple of beers. It's $37. That's what's at risk. So we're talking about a program that teaches you how to use digital technology to your advantage without learning the skills, build up an income for the rest of your life using your existing experience. That's what's available. The worst that can happen is you lose a burger and 2 beers. And that's the decision people have to make if they're worried it's a scam. The scam isn't going to take your bank account and steal your house and steal your car and send it to Nigeria or whatever you're imagining. These people are going to ask you for $37.
Yeah, and there's a hell of a lot of value actually for $37. I mean, there's so much stuff in there. It's going to, it's going to take some time.
And Andy's point was, if I was going to do a scam, I'd want a hell of a lot more than $37. He said it'd be the world's most stupid scam. To get rich, I need to find 100,000 people per month to scam. It's ridiculous. So that was the thing that, we're talking about learning and education that can change your standing in life. And I say standing deliberately because it's not just finance. It's how you feel about yourself, how you interact with people. It just gives you a whole new world. And for $37, you're going to get the introductory training, the book, everything you need to decide whether you're going to commit wholeheartedly or not.
Yeah. Don't stop there.
Or you're going to lose a burger.
Yeah. So you got the 7-day fast start videos.
Yes.
All right. There's hours of video content there from Stuart, and he's going to explain. He's going to demystify the way online business works. Okay. There's an ebook which you get to download.
And it's a good ebook.
Yeah,
it's thorough.
Yeah. There's it's all about authority and attraction marketing, right? So you'll learn about that. There's a vision call. You actually get to talk to a real life human being, part of the company, and you get to talk about what it is that you're looking to achieve, your goals, your vision for your future, and then you'll have a conversation with somebody that understands the various programs and coaching and stuff that the company deliver, and whether there is a fit there. You know, whether the company can provide what it is that you need to achieve your goals. There's a private group on Facebook, isn't there, where you can engage with other people that are in the program, right?
Yep.
You'll be invited onto a couple of the live community calls. There's the visionary call, which happens every month. Stuart and Justin always come out on that one, and there'll be lots of success stories and recognition of students that are making breakthroughs. And there's the new member orientation call every single week, and that's another call that you're invited to come into to get a feel for. It's an onboarding call, so Justin's going to give you an idea of what your time within this community and training is going to look like in the first weeks and months. There's a couple of huge bonus courses, one on e-commerce and one on affiliate marketing. These are probably two of the most popular business models that people take up, so you can go into a lot more depth there if that's something that interests you, and you can inform yourself whether that's something that you want to pursue. And there's even a personal development program called the 21-Day Best Life Blueprint, which is designed to help you develop new habits and more of the entrepreneurial mindset. So there's a huge amount of value in there, isn't there? And then we run a monthly call for all of our modern wealthy people. So again, we come out and we,
And that, as you say, that's a bundle of stuff that you will get for $37.
Yeah.
And if you're unhappy, ask for the money back and you'll get it back. But for me, that was the very good grounding that I needed to show me that this was a way. And then I could take the opportunity to go on to do different courses with different skills, learn different things to build the business from there. But the first investment, as I say, was what Andy in London said. It's the price of the burger and 2 pints in London.
Yeah, and that could change your life
the risk.
If you're prepared to sacrifice the burger and 2 pints of beer.
That's the risk versus a life-changing education.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to go and check the thing because it's been rolling for almost an hour.
Yeah, one more point.
It might even be rolling.
Might be off for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
One more point just in case it's not rolling.
Yeah.
So the first thing is people are worried about a scam, and the second thing is they're worried whether they can do it.
They doubt the training and they doubt themselves.
So the quality of the training is their second doubt. Is it a scam? No, it's not. You come through. Is this real training? That's the other thing. And as John has mentioned earlier, there's 60 lessons that you're going to go through. There's a workbook. There's calls. There's coaching. There's so much. There's a business built up there now that must have over 15,000 members in the community. But come and have a look. And now the only thing I've got on my head is none of this is recording.
Okay, well, let's have a look. See if it is or not. Yeah, it's still going.
That's
it's
excellent.
Still going.